So in 2023, I decided to make a couple changes. Earlier in the year, I had left the company that I'd helped found before. I just decided that it was time for me to do something a little bit different. And I took a couple months, played with some cars, did some brokering, buying and selling some of my own, just general car guy fun stuff when you're not actually working. But after a few months, the itch starts to come. I need to start doing something. And it's always nice to make a little bit more money at the top of that too. I'm looking around in the job market, seeing what's out there, talking to some friends, talking to colleagues, looking for the right opportunity. One day, I get a message on LinkedIn from a recruiter. And he says, I don't really even know where to start looking for this kind of role I'm trying to fill, but I think you've got the background for it. And so he starts telling me, well, they want to build an online auction. And I said, okay, well, I've already done that. And they want to do it with high-end cars. Okay, cool. I've done that too, quite a bit. They're looking for somebody who can thrive in a startup, an entrepreneurial, and go, oh, sounds like a tailor-made role for me. And so naturally, we start discussing the details. I go through some interview processes, and we agree it's a great fit. So about July, I jump on board, and I find out it's Sotheby's Motorsport, as we now call SoMo. Sotheby's Motorsport started off as a joint venture between RM Sotheby's and Motorsport Network, who is now rebranded as DuPont Registry Group. The owner behind Motorsport Network wanted to get into the online auction business, was looking for a partner. RM Sotheby's recognized the power of the online auctions and where things are going and wanted to have a competitor in that field. And so they ended up teaming up with the discussions. We're supposed to launch this thing in August. This is mid-July, and we have the framework of a website. We have some processes, procedures, and things, and that's about it. To be fair, it's a project that had been in the works for a very long time, and there were a couple guys that had joined on before me that had been burning the midnight oil to get it where it was at and build it into something that we can really take to the next level. So the first time meeting the team, it was decided that Gettysburg, Pennsylvania was the easiest place for everybody to meet up. At the time, hey, I'll take the trip. I've never been. Maybe I'll go tour a battlefield if I've got a free minute or two. Fly out there, drive out there after the airport, get to the hotel late at night, meet some of the guys, great team, say, all right, first thing in the morning, we're going to get at it. I go into the conference room the next morning. Fittingly, being in Gettysburg, all the conference rooms are named after Civil War generals. We're in the General Lee conference room. Being a muscle car guy, all I'm thinking about is Dukes of Hazzard. But being this is the car venture, it somehow just feels right. And so I'm sitting in the conference room, and we've got Shane, our director of ops. We've got Ben, who's one of our auction writers. Super sharp guys, both just as passionate about this as everybody else, working our butts off, trying to figure out what we need to do to get this thing launched in a month. Now, the problem is we've got no cars. We have a website, we have things ready to go, we have our processes in place. We don't have anything to sell. So it's my job to try to find some cars for us to sell. First thing I do, I call up all my contacts. And for anybody that's ever been part of a startup, trying to sell something that doesn't exist is a challenge in itself. Now, this isn't the first time I have done this, but it never makes it any easier. Now, one of the things people may not realize is that we're actually a partnership between Sotheby's and DuPont Registry Group. And because of that, we had a little bit of help at least. The guys over at DuPont Registry generously connected up with some of their dealer contacts. And so we were able to get some additional cars coming in, and we bring in another sales guy in a couple weeks. As we get closer and closer, it looks like we finally got some cars to launch. Now we've got some quality stuff, but we want something that's going to make a splash. We need something that's got some panache, that's going to grab some attention. We need a high dollar car. So there's a dealer in Florida we were talking to, and right from the get-go, they were like, hey, we love this idea. We want to be in on the ground floor. We want to support it. What can we do? We're looking at the inventory. They've got an SF90 Spider, and beautiful car, red, black interior, loaded up with carbon fiber, all the options. And this was right, the cars had started to become available. They weren't bringing $1 million anymore like when they first hit the market. They'd cooled off some, but there was still a good demand. And so we said, we like the SF90. Maybe we can do something there. And as we get to talking more and discussing, they throw out the idea of what if we go no reserve? And I go, now we're talking. Because for us to launch and roll out of the gate, guaranteed sale on an SF90 Spider, that's a strong way to introduce yourself to the world. So we say, okay, that works. Now, how do we take this one step further? Well, our parent company at RM Sotheby's was preparing for their auction in Monterey at the Portola Plaza. And they generously offered us some space to show up there, display a car, and announce to the world who we are. We said, okay, let's get this SF90 Spider shipped out to Monterey, and the winning buyer will get to pick it up directly from there. Everything's set in motion. We're getting what we need to get done. Listings getting built. And then about a week before Monterey we have the SF90 go live on the site. Bidding opens up, and it starts pretty well. Ideally, the dealer wants to try to get upper 700s. I'd love to get 800. But that's when reality starts to creep in of, oh shit, we're running this car no reserve on a brand new auction platform. Of course, we're not saying anything, put some nerves out there, but I'm nervous. I have no idea what this thing's gonna do. If this falls flat on its face, that's not a great look. That's a hard start to overcome. We go out to Monterey, and we've got the team out there. We've got the car up on a pedestal, great spot set up, and we've got some nice couches and a little lounge area. Everybody's coming by, talking to us. We're getting people signed up for bidding left and right. We're recruiting bidders. We see people bidding on the car that we met just hours ago at the sale. And as each day ticks off, we're getting closer and closer to the end. Bidding was a little slow to start. And then you see another bid come in and another one come in. We're getting close. We're not quite there yet of where we want to be. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen. Finally, we get to the last day, and we've got a few hours to close. The car is, I think it was somewhere in the low 700s. Respectable, but would have been on the low side of us if the car had hammered right there. We start recalling up some of the people that we've already talked to before, saying, hey, we just want to remind you this car's closing today. Making sure that we're making sure that we're calling all the people we need to, having the right conversations. We see another bid come in, but this is from someone who we've never met before. And we do a little bit of homework. And okay, it's not someone who is on these lists that we've received from our parent companies. It's not someone we've signed up at the auction here. And they keep bidding, and another one, and another one. And then when it comes down to it, they throw in a bid at $775, auction closes, hammers all in at 800 grand, right where the consignor needs to be. Come to find out, this woman in Pennsylvania found us on Google of all places. And her and her husband had decided they wanted to start a supercar collection. This was their first one. We shipped the car off to them in Pennsylvania, did a nice little video of when she took delivery. SoMo customer number one, absolutely thrilled to have her, and great experience all around for everybody. Well, we're not in that startup stage anymore. We still very much have that feel about us, where we're right down there in the trenches, ready to take this thing to the next level as we continue to grow.
By now you know that AutoTempest is the best place to shop for your next car because they compile all the results from all the major listing sites into one place. And of course they support the best car content on YouTube. But did you also know that AutoTempest now has a new mobile app? That's right, in addition to using it in your browser on a computer, you can also have it for iOS or Android in the palm of your hand. So check it out and download it. I know you'll love it the way I love it, and leave them a great review.